Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. It's actually Holy Thursday for those that are Christians in belief of God. And today's a special day for me. It's the celebration of the Last Supper. It's also a time, these next few days that we reflect on the life of Christ and Jesus' teachings to us, right? So I want to say good morning. Thank you for joining me today. The word of the week is doubt. And I woke up, actually, it was yesterday is when I got the word. I've been trying to be extremely patient. In the beginning, when I started these 55 weeks of transformational prayer, it took a considerable amount of trust on my part that this was something that would transform me. And in that journey, sharing, perhaps give you insight to transform your own life and whatever that means to you. And so the words sometimes come later to me. I usually wake up and it'll actually be almost like as if Vanna White was saying, the word of the week is doubt. And so I write it down quickly because, once you get up at my age and your mind starts trying to function in this world, it takes a lot of focus and we forget things very quickly when we're in that state of consciousness, right? And then the energy closes and you think you're going to remember in that moment. And then when you come back into the physical brain, it's like, what just happened? So I'm learning to quickly jot things down. And so as I wrote the word down, for me, the process is about me reflecting on what that really means to me. And it is, it's funny how that it comes this week during the Holy Week, and being that my show is on Thursday, and it commemorates the Garden of Gethsemane that Jesus visited after and took, some of the disciples to after the Holy Last Supper. And it was a place of doubt where doubt existed. In a moment in time when Jesus, knew what was happening, and the reaction even to some of the disciples was doubt. A lot of times in faith, people feel there is no real there's shame. If you have doubt, then how can you possibly have faith? And I'm here to say that, when I experienced that word, it took me back. Like, what the heck? How is that going to be transformational? Doubt is, something that is a negative, right? But as I looked more with my spiritual eyes and my spiritual heart and my spiritual mind, I got revealed something a little bit different this week. Actually recalling on everything that I dealt with this week and recalling and listening to my life, and to the saints, in the beginning. Oh, can I just ask you, could you like and share me? Because that way I can get out to Facebook, and because maybe people might like this. So if you like this program, please like and share it, because without a doubt, that will help my algorithms from Facebook reach other people. So if you could like and share me whenever you see this program and you feel that it could help somebody in your life or your loved one, share it on your page, spread the good word. And I'm sorry that my lighting is a little bit odd here. It keeps going in and out on my screen, so I hope it's not doing that in yours. And thank you, Polly Joe. Let me just look down here. I get, in the groove of speaking and allowing Spirit to guide me that I forget. Thank you, Polly Joe, for sharing. Yes, thank you, Neshi. Good morning, Sister Sue. That's my sister. Hi, Connie. Thank you, Connie. Good morning, Willow. Thanks for joining me. And I see that there's others on that I can't really see unless you comment. So welcome. And no doubt, hopefully this show will help you today. So again, it's Holy Thursday. And it's funny because I changed the place where I'm broadcasting from. I decided to broadcast from my dining room table. Everybody's off to school and it's quiet house. And so my lucky doodle, she's laying over there on the couch comfortably listening. And behind me, and if I do this, I, realized in the screenshot that, I had the birch. So I actually, wanted to look up what the birch meant because I love birches. I think I probably looked up this at one point in time. But birches are about fresh start and determination for those treading on a spiritual path and development. And it means bright and shiny. And today, even though for those experiencing the story of Jesus or even just Christians this week, a lot of doubt comes in our mind, but it also symbolizes a new beginning and a new understanding of God and how God is always, kind of like with us, right? So anyways, that's a little story of my birch. But I wanted to just start with, I began to look up in I always start usually in the dictionary, just so I can look at, what doubt means in the dictionary. And of course I have to get my little copy because my eyes aren't going to see that. But if you go on my Facebook page, all the pictures that I upload for the show are in there and the photographs. Yes, Lucky likes listening too, Holly. She's my liquid courage, my fuzzy courage, to sit here and do this crazy programming of putting, my face on Facebook like this. That was a big doubt of mine, whether I could do it and whether that was my purpose, right? But anyways, so doubt is about feeling uncertain or lack of conviction. And that's the noun piece of it. But the verb is to feel uncertain about, I doubt my ability, and fear was the second one on the bottom of that. And so for me, doubt is driven by fear. And the thing that I recognize, working in the Akashic Records, there's 3 absolutes. One is fear not, judge not, and resist not. And if we can get to that place in consciousness of any of the situations that we are facing in our life, if we can put that as a template over that, as a map or a navigation tool to start looking at our life we can actually uncover those very things that we suffer from, right? And so that's why I kind of I found this, and I got to remember, why am I having a memory issue here? How to get it down? Oh, that's because I didn't scroll. Silly me. Okay, so there we go. And we're going to put this one up because this one's cool. Doubt is pain, too lonely to know the faith is his twin brother. Now I like that because doubt is derived from fear. The physical brain, as we talked about in the beginning of the weeks, the physical brain, the brain that keeps us in flight, fight, or freeze, that's its job, to detect fear and to prevent it, right? In our minds and in our physical body if we're running from a bear, right? So the mind is doing its job. But the component that's missing in order to get rid of doubt is faith. And faith is a spiritual action. Faith is a spiritual, mystical language. It's a light code. And so it is something that can transform doubt. And, doubt to me just means it draws my attention that I'm at a crossroads. If I'm at a place of doubt, because sometimes doubt will help me in the practical world if I doubt someone's honesty, sincerity, integrity. So doubt is a good thing in the practical world. It truly does. The brain's not wrong for heightening your awareness. because what that does is it heightens my awareness to look further, that perhaps maybe I'm not being as alert as I should in my practical world. But to take doubt a little bit farther from that and into the spiritual mind, I have to recognize that it is a direct catalyst for me to continue to keep seeking. And it also strengthens my faith, because I wouldn't need doubt if I was full of faith. And apparently, to be full of faith here on the earth, you're going to always seek it, because God is an absolute that we really, in the physical world, appears to us as the unseen. And when we look at creation through humans and babies and our loved ones and our dogs and the beautiful trees and the birds, it's very easy to see God apparent there, right? But how do we feel God inside of us, or have that faith in times of doubt and desolation, So doubt can be a verb. And I feel it, when we look at it as a verb as opposed to a noun, a state of being, right? A person, place, or thing, the word doubt comes in as a noun. I feel it freezes us. It freezes perhaps us for a moment. And sometimes, maybe switches us into pause. And so for the weeks that we have worked on all of this, the 12 weeks, to really work with doubt, it's going to take us back to seeking our trust. And we need to put our intentions in that, Lord, I am in doubt, and I need to stop and look at this differently. So I have to change my intention. I want to be out of doubt, because it brings me suffering. And it doesn't help me move forward in the things that I need to move forward into to make change and transformation for those that I love, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend. Good morning, Minnie. And also too, to make us move to seek, right? But we have to have patience with ourselves, because sometimes we're going to sit in doubt for a while. So don't, be patient and ask for, how am I going to detach from this doubt and the outcome and the expectations, so that I can allow God to come in and inspire me to seek Him in those areas, those cracks and those crevices where doubt lies. And that's how I'm going to work through, by inviting the wisdom of God. I'm sorry about this camera. I hope it's not too dark. But I also have to have courage and definitely humility to remember that my choices, when I get to the crossroads of doubt, I can choose to believe in that doubt, or I can choose another pathway that is the polar opposite, which is faith. With doubt, it's okay. I mean, God doesn't judge. God waits for us to decide and discover, right? But to look at that as, a possibility, that the humility part is, maybe I don't know what's best for me. And maybe doubt is not where I'm supposed to be. So, or be believing in as my truth, or the truth of my situation. It can be, right? We can use it for doubt in the practical world to decide if someone's helping us with integrity or not, right? So doubt is like a form of a muscle, like a weight that we lift to exercise and build our ability to have discernment. And once we become able to discern, when doubt comes in, we are then able to discern in which path or what navigation tool we need to get to our true north, the path that we have to take. And sometimes it's courage and just challenging our doubts. Sometimes it's just honoring them and not judging them. judging our doubts. Yes, I like that. Well, you're getting the teacher star today. Doubt is like a yield sign. Yes, I like that. And good morning, Minnie. I'm not sure like how you hide the comments and then you do that. Okay, I played with that. Sorry. Oh, thank you, sister. Home run. Thank you. That's nice. That's great encouragement. Anyways, it's like a yield sign. You're right. And so we need to surrender. We have to have a certain amount of surrender and trust because when doubt gets in our mind, it's a very scary place to be. And, for me, again, it's a product and the purpose of the ego, right? The part of us that edges God out, because we actually are here to balance our understanding of God. And the earth is a great place because a lot of times we see the absence of God, but if we really look hard past our doubt, we can actually find the light of God in the darkest of places and in the darkest moments, in the scariest moments for ourselves. So doubt is a way of saying, oops, let's take a look at this. Because I think the things that I really, would like to say, it's a foundation of teaching. It's almost like when this is like when I was brushing my teeth, Spirit was showing me, like when we play peekaboo with children, right, at the very young age. They're in doubt whether we're going to come back or not, right? So playing that game over and over again, we teach them to trust that when I'm out of your sight, don't doubt that I'm always here. So I really like that. And then, when you become a more sophisticated child of 4 or 5, 6 or 7, then you get to play hide and seek. And I believe doubt is when we feel it's hiding. God is hiding. And it's our job to seek and find it. Because every time we doubt, at least in my life, it was an opportunity to find and seek God in a whole different manner, in a whole different way. And then I just continued to grow it, right? So I really liked this one. It is impossible, said pride. It's risky, said experience. It's pointless, said reason. And give it a try, whispered the heart. So when doubt has you saying it's impossible, you've got another couple things going around in there, some of that self-pride, and, your reasoning, but to listen to your heart. I found this week that when I opened my heart, as many of us tend to close it down when we're in doubt, because that is part of our system, right? Our brain system is to, when we're in fear, whenever, is to close up, batten down the hatches, brace for the crap. And basically, thank you, Neshi. Neshi's saying she loves my quotes you found to discuss doubt. Yeah, they're divinely guided. Isn't it great? Because it gives me actually some notes to remember. And when I read the quotes, we always get those spiritual messages that come with them. So thank you, Nesh. I'm glad you like them. So always open your heart. Like that was the biggest thing I learned to, when I asked God, what is it that I can transform doubt? And I remember when I first started in my spiritual, I took a step away from the church because I needed to learn about God in a different manner. Everybody that is in religion, if it's working for you and you found your pathway and you're content and you're happy and your faith is great and you motor on in your religion or your beliefs, that's perfect, because I'm not here to change anybody's belief systems. I'm just stating, for me, I had to walk away and I had doubts about that, right? I had doubts that I wouldn't be loved by God anymore. I had doubts that I was going to be on a path to hell, right? Literally, I did. And I had doubts, always doubts along the way. But it was within these doubts that I've grown to a whole new level of understanding God. And it started out as a doubt of, am I really hearing God? Does he really want me to venture outside these walls that I've known all my life? And it was like, yes. And every time I get in a situation where I doubt, then I actually go through a spiritual movement, right? So, I wish I put that up the other way, but hopefully you can see it because I have the little icon there. But it says, are you feeling a bit shaken, maybe stirred, maybe fearful and doubtful, and completely, utterly, wildly terrified? Good. Keep going. I'm going to paste this on my forehead because this is exactly what happens to me. And when I have enough faith to actually push through that doubt, push through that stuff that stirs inside of you, it actually clears it out and it dumps more faith in. And then when I'm in doubt, I have a chronicle of my life, a chronicle of my soul's experience, my life experience, my memories, that when I'm in those sacred moments, the mystical moments, when I actually can feel my faith, I can see and touch my faith, right? Then the mystical moment closes and I come back into the earth, this earth consciousness, and I doubt again. So I've accepted it to not be a bad thing. It's a partner. It's a partner. And it's, that same thing that, doubt is too lonely to recognize that faith is its twin brother. And let me just put this one down. And this one I made myself. And I like it because my husband's a lawyer. So this was fun. He kind of chuckled at it. If your faith ever leads you to a place of doubt, it's okay. Just give God the burden of proof. And that's how I look at it. I bring my doubts to God and I lay my case down, in my board meetings every morning. And I say, look, I'm in great doubt here. I'm going to continue to follow, but it's really hard for me. So what are you going to do? Show me, because I'm open. I'm going to be open to whatever. And so with that, that's how I, learn. And that's how I recognize that that God is saying, you know what? I want you to question me. A lot of times in religion, we don't question, right? Because to have a lack of faith has a negative connotation that we're not believers. But it's actually the opposite. Those that question and those that doubt are the true believers because they're always seeking. And, we all believe at certain levels, right? I'm the first to say, have faith. Because I've lived that my whole entire life, whether I was in a religion or in a spiritual movement or studying other spiritual things. Right now I'm currently studying for universal ministry ordination. And with that process, I'm studying all kinds of religions. And I always knew, before I took made this commitment for this year's studies, I always knew that we were all the same throughout the mystical beliefs of the religions that were here forth on this earth. And I began to accept it, and I could see it because I studied all the mystical pieces. So now I'm going back and I'm looking at things. And yes, Doubting Thomas was today. I actually have a picture of him, Neshi. He's coming up. I think he's in here. I think I might have not put him in. But anyways, hold on a second, Nesh. I have him. And I'm going to bring this guy down so we can talk about this. So, yes. So as I was saying, in this ministry program, I am being exposed to and challenged to, as a universal minister, that's what I'm becoming, to look at all religions. And let me tell you something. When you're Catholic and you're Christian, and then you start studying other principles such as Judaism and the Quran and different things like that and their belief systems, and you start listening and studying them, it shakes the core of you. And then you go, oh, wait a minute. I mean, because I had a point of time where when I started out in the process, I had a week of desolation of like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if God exists. Like, is this whole thing just a game here? And this is just man? And is this whatever? And as I got through the desolation, and I didn't give up in my doubts, because there was that core level of faith that said, I'm on this path and I'm challenged this way and I will have desolation, but I'm there. I'm walking with you and I'm going to walk you through this. And as I recognize what it's happening is that I'm stripping down my certain pathway that I have, that I enjoy and that I love, and I will always access God in this pathway. But when I first started my spiritual studies, I would put my iTunes on, and I allowed the angels to choose songs for me. And whenever songs would come up, it was through the, light codes of sound. I was actually receiving information. It was through the lyrics. It was through the feelings. So each time an iTunes, and I would let it randomly shuffle. And I remember that one of the songs was, I don't know if you know, it's called, I think it's called Get Here, by Alida Adams. And it's, I don't care how you get there, get here if you can. And when I first got introduced to that song again in a spiritual, when I was meditating or just, in that consciousness, I realized, it said, you come by plane, come by camel. I don't know what the heck it was, something like that. But what it represented to me was, the camel represented me to the Middle East, right? And how they seek God. Because what God did, and so intelligently, we're all separated through our religion, our faiths, our beliefs, our cultures, right? But if you go to the mystical, God made a pathway for all of us to find God, to find the Holy Spirit, to find the Holy Spirit in us, right? Whatever suited us. It's like, I like vanilla ice cream, you like chocolate ice cream, but the fact of the matter is we both like ice cream. So really, does it really matter? So it was really cool. And I feel like the ministry program for me is stripping down all of that so I can see me in everybody. And I was afraid. I had doubted, why am I doing this? This is, I'm crazy. And as my granddaughter reminds me, yeah, you crazy. She's 4. She likes to say that because her father taught her that. I think he taught her that so she could drive me crazy. But anyway, and I have no doubt about that. So anyways, with that, I want to talk just a little bit about the saints. So all the saints, I really, as a child, when I got introduced to them in the Catholic Church, I think I was too young to be exposed to them, to understand them to the degree that I understand them now and that I enjoy studying now. I love the saints. I mean, I went back to the church for a program that's the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, which teaches discernment. It's been it's a 30-week course that I'm taking with them. And it's opened my eyes. It was developed, St. Ignatius was a Jesuit. So they're very mystical in their beliefs and how they approach Catholicism. Anyways, the saints have taught me so much. And Saint Teresa of Avila was one of the first articles I wrote for Star Nations.
And so I brushing my teeth, taking a shower, and spirits got me, running around. Go get that article. Go look at the article that you wrote. And for me, in that, I said, don't make me a saint, God. That was my thing when I was, learning about the saints, because they had so much suffering, right? And they had lives that were horrible. And so as a child, I was like, no way. And I think I was pretty intelligent because, I didn't want to find God in that manner. But they were boots on the ground. And I feel like, St. Teresa, mentioned that pain and suffering comes from being separated from our inner wisdom. Isn't that so simple, and cool? Ego comes in, we get a little doubt, we automatically, with our thoughts, separate from our spiritual wisdom. And we go down this path of suffering through that. And so I thought that was, really kind of cool. And then I think about this Holy Week. And you cannot tell me, because I'm a mom, that the Divine Mother didn't have doubt in God. She didn't have doubt from the time that the angel came to her to the time that she understood the path and the purpose of her son. Because as moms, we don't really know our kids' purpose. We can see it. We can see their light. We can see what they do in the world. But Mary was extraordinary. She had an extraordinary amount of information. And I love her because I'm sure that her ability to develop discernment and to squash doubt like a bug, right? And put it in its proper place and balance is what made, this Holy Week, part of the story so beautiful. The story of the Nativity, the story of just her belief of step by step, little step by steps. She followed the Holy Spirit and trusted in the angels and trusted in herself and her messages. And she stayed connected to that inner wisdom, I believe. But so there's no shame in doubt. It doesn't mean you're not faithful. It actually means you're quite faithful. Because without having faith, doubt doesn't exist. So if you didn't have a need to be faithful, where would doubt be, right? And to look at the polarity of that, right? We live in a world of polarity, so that we can measure our light. So we can measure our light between light and darkness. Darkness has to exist in order to see light, and vice versa. And faith and doubt fall in that same category of the universal law of polarity. So know that it exists. It's always going to be here. It's part of us. It's part of our experience. So don't fear it. As my friend Denise Iwana would say, I use that template, fear nothing, respect everything. So I placed that template over doubt, and I examined it in a whole different way. And it opened up a pathway for me, for consciousness to better understand. So don't fear it, but respect it. Because if we stay in a state of doubt, it can be a very powerful force of energy for us. So don't ever underestimate it. Use it as a tool. Use it as an awareness, and then use it to your advantage by using alchemy of faith. Use the doubt to drive you to faith and to transform that doubt into a solid understanding and knowing in your heart, right? Where it resides. Let's see. We're going to put Doubting Thomas down. Thanks, Nesh, for reminding me to put him up there. But, for me, the poking of, that was awesome, but we're not all going to get that.
I remember being in confession one time, and I don't know, I was, questioning what the priest was telling me, right? And hi, Elise, thank you. She says, thank you, enjoy your show. Thanks, Elise. Anyways, I was in confession, and I remember that, I don't know, my confession, I don't remember what the sin or whatever was at the time, but you have the face-to-face things now. You can't hide behind the little door. You have to really sit down with them. How stressful was that? But anyway, I went in and I was asking something, and I said, well, how do I know? How can I trust that? And the priest said to me, do you expect like Jesus to come down on a bolt of lightning, sit on your lap and explain it and tell you everything's going to be okay? And I said, yes, Father, I actually am, because that would really save a lot of heartache in my life and a lot of suffering. I could get on with life, and I could actually trust what you're telling me right now. And I don't need the bolt of lightning anymore. My movement outside the church, and what God chose me to do and seek, allowed me to have mystical moments, just as Thomas had. I had a very mystical moment when my mother passed. I've had mystical moments when I've been in readings with others, in Akashic readings. I've been in mystical moments when I've taught healing modalities. I've been in mystical moments in prayer. And I really thought in church that mystical moments only happened to saints and those people in the Bible, to the priests, and that I was just the receiver of mystical moments. And how I mean other people's experiences of mystical moments. That's all that I was to receive. And when I was able to move out of my own beliefs, my own limitations in my own church, then I was able to see it, further. So when you ever find yourself doubting how far you can go, just remember how far you have come. Remember everything you have faced, all the battles you have won, and all the fears you have overcome. I like that one. I really like that one, right? So I want to say, God is infinite and is beyond our understanding. Yet God chooses to reveal the Holy Spirit in us. And it sort of in ways sparks us to question. And rather than answer all of our questions, like coming down in a bolt of lightning and sitting on my lap and telling me everything is going to be okay, God is inviting me to explore him further, or her further. And in my finite human body here, I'm able to explore and learn without a doubt. And that's how I grow my faith, because that's what I'm here to do. When I transfer over to the other side there, that's not exactly the word I want to use, but that's what's coming to my head. When I hit the transfer station over on the other side there, I will already know. The journey for me will be over. My doubt will be over. But I can't ever, I know that it's there. I will always wonder, will it be there for me? Did I really experience what I experienced with my mother? That was a gift, that was a huge gift for me. But as soon as on my ride home, I'm like doubting myself. Did those things really happen? And so anyways, it's always going to be like, the sequel of doubt, right? So we're always going to have it. So just like welcome it in, become a friend. It's part of our shadow, and don't let it rule our life, and just always look at it as an opportunity to find God in all those hidden places of doubt, right? Crack it open. Just do it. Like the Nike commercial says, doubt, just do it. Face it. Wizard of Oz showed us that. Dorothy doubted she was going home. The Scarecrow doubted he was smart. The Lion doubted he had courage. And the Tin Man doubted that he would ever find love. And guess what? They all had doubt too. Worked out for them. So anyways, God welcomes in our curiosity. And instead of black and white thinking, this doubt actually invites our curiosity. And all the famous people in the Bible, Moses, Abraham, Sarah, Peter, Thomas, who we talked about today, who actually, I used to think, damn, Thomas, you got a bad rap by, totally God went through all that and then you want to poke him in the side to believe it. And I'm thinking, Thomas, that's not so good, right? But when I think about it, I really admire Thomas. And because now that I can look at doubt in not a shameful way, because, when we looked at it kind of in our physical mind type thing in the story, it was like, thanks, yes, transition. Nesh, thanks. When we look at it from that, we kind of feel shameful that, Jesus went through all that, and then Thomas has the noive, to question. But you know what? Jesus didn't care. And the other gentleman, I can't remember in the Bible, who, questioned Jesus, he healed them. So Jesus, is basically the spokesman and ambassador for God. One of many, right? One pretty good one, right? In my book. But anyways, he didn't get all hung up on that and get all indignant. Like, dude, I'm not helping you. You're a doubter. No, dude, you're a doubter. And guess what? I'm going to even show you even more, because you're here seeking. You're here wanting to poke me. And so I really like that. So that's my little take on good old Thomas. So let go of any expectations of how your questions will be answered and how your doubts will be answered. Just use your intention to say, hey, I'm in a place of doubt, and show me. I'm going to open my heart. I'm going to open my mind, and I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to be aware. And that's my job, and you have the burden of proof. And I'm going to allow you to have it, and I'm not going to put any expectations on how you show me that. So in times of sickness, when I doubt if you're truly there, in times of grief and separation, show me. Show me. And trust. Trust and open your heart. So then your mind, so you can receive. Doubting God is, not a result. It's not a result of our fickle faith. It is a realization that there's a dichotomy between us finites as humans and the infinite grace of God. The infinite of God, it's forever, right? It's forever. We can't even put a language or a word to it to really describe the infinite life force, light force, consciousness of God. It's everywhere. There's a pathway for everybody. So doubt opens a doorway for us to understand God at a deeper and personal level, because it's personal. It's a relationship. It's personal, right? We all collectively seek the light. But it's a personal journey. It's a personal experience, and it's a personal relationship. It's very cool when you think about it. It's intimate. So don't rush your doubt, because doubt can, last a while, right? Doubt comes in for a reason. It's going to hang on for the season of you experiencing and getting to know and seeking, right? So that takes time. Like sometimes we can be in doubt and we're over in it in a couple of minutes, right? But not always, because some of our doubts are big. And some of the things that we doubt have other things around us, such as grief and suffering, or our health, or just circumstances, right? The resources that we have in the moment. So be patient with yourself, and be patient with and trust that it doesn't have to come in a day, and that it's okay. And we might not have the instant gratification, like, God, Jesus coming down on my lap in a bolt of lightning saying, Margaret, everything is going to be okay in your life. And we're not going to have the luxury of, being able to poke Jesus' side like Thomas. That was a major gift. So be patient. And what time am I going on? Oh boy. Okay, so I think I'm down to my prayer. And I'm going to put this up. In the bottom there, that is Yod He Vod He. That is the Jewish symbol down there for God. I can't remember the woman who paints these, but if anybody wants to know, shoot me an email at 4, Infinite Grace at Comcast.net. And I'll give that to you. I just don't have it on the screen. And I wanted to get that because these are beautiful paintings. And whenever I have this picture, I like it around me. It brings me comfort. Because, in Gethsemane, he did have a lot of doubt, right? But it didn't matter. Even when he was, young and he was tipping tables in the temple to make his point, he didn't care. He had the utmost trust, even though he doubted how it would be received. And everything, even in the end, on the cross, he still wondered, are you really there for me, God? He didn't say, hey, see you on the other side. No, right up to the moment of his passing, of his incredible sacrifice, he still had that doubt, right? Because that's human. That was a human. He was a being of light, but in a human body as well. We are too, right? And so, take down your comment. It's blocking. It is? Take down my comment. It's blocking the quote. Ooh. Okay, because I don't see one down. Hide comment. How about if I do that? Okay, I didn't see it on my end. Thanks, Nesh. So, anyways, so just remember that even one of the greatest masters of understanding God, the mystical, the practical, still had doubt. And the consciousness of God was okay with that. And, we know the end story, right? So with that, I need to find my prayer. Sometimes I'm busy jotting things down, and people are leaving for work, and okay, I got it. Thank you for waiting. All right. Here we go. Can you see the picture now? Oh, yes, I got a thumbs up. Thank you. All right. Holy Spirit of God, hover over me. Allow the bold, the gentle, the assurance of energy of this and assuredness of the energy of this Holy Week, the sacred Holy Thursday, to transform my doubt in the Creator. Allow this energy of knowing how Christ knew wash over us all. I have no idea where I'm going, nor do I really know my own self when I'm in the place of doubt or desolation. So during these times, from the little doubts to the big doubts, I really want to have deep humility. And I ask you to align my eyes with your eyes so that I may see the light of God in everything that I encounter, in everything that I meet, and everything that I experience. But may you please align my eyes, most importantly, when I look in the mirror. Allow me to see you residing in me. Align my align my ears with your ears, God, so I may hear the messages that guide me, even in those great times of desolation and doubt. Encourage me to open my heart so I may listen, and so it silences the doubts in my mind, bringing me peace. Align my heart with your heart, melting my deepest doubts, and so that I may always seek you, crushing the doubts and the mystical moments that happen between us. When I open my heart, I attract that attention of the mystical God winks that you give me, that crush my doubts in an instant. Align my mind with yours, so that you can be the authority over me, so which I can grow in discernment and understanding, so I may balance my doubts with my faith. Thank you, Jesus, for having the courage to show me just what that means and what that takes, allowing me to reach the highest altitude of grace when I'm facing doubt and where it can take us. Allow the spirit of this Holy Week to wash over all of us, and allow me to take all the doubts that come to mind and transform them within me to a greater foundation of faith. Amen. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming and sharing this time with me, especially during this sacred time of the Holy Week, Holy Thursday. And I wish you all wonderful Easter blessings. And may Easter bring you the renewed hope that all doubts and all things in our life, through our light, through our trust, can transform us. And remember that prayer doesn't change our situations. Prayer changes us so we can change situations. And I have no doubt about that. Have a good day today. Love you all. Bye.